watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
So glad you're with us here at 6 a.m. on this Monday. I'm Eric Conrad.
And I'm Neda Irampour, and we want to get right to our top stories here. This just coming in now. Pfizer says 3 small doses of its COVID-19 vaccine would protect kids under the age of 5. So this is for babies up to that 4-year-old age range. The vaccine maker now plans to give its data to U.S. regulators later on this week. Right now, the FDA is reviewing data from Pfizer's rival, Moderna, as well, and that company hopes to offer 2 kid-sized shots by summer.
Well, this morning, a controversial rule allowing the federal government to expel migrants seeking asylum, it's still in place. It was supposed to come to an end today. However, a judge ruling changed that.
CBS 8's Chris Groh joining us live in San Ysidro now to explain what happens now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. And so essentially we'll see the battle play out in the courtroom. Meanwhile, though, here in San Ysidro, we do expect to see immigration advocates in just a couple of hours begin a rally in calling for the end to Title 42. Now, to take you back here again, Title 42, as you just pointed out, was supposed to end today. However, it was a federal judge in Louisiana that ruled that it must stay in place, writing, quote, in part, ending Title 42 would result in immediate and irreparable harm due to a projected increase in border crossings and overcrowded processing facilities, resulting in greater costs to provide health care and education. Meanwhile, some of those immigration advocates that we've heard from already, that we plan to hear from again today, argue that keeping Title 42 in place forces migrants to make an even more dangerous journey to find a better life. They also claim that the U.S. government is not following federal law or international obligations to honor the asylum process by allowing migrants to seek asylum the same way that Ukrainian refugees did, as we saw here with our own cameras. Again, those Ukrainian refugees getting that exemption from Title 42. And so these advocates are pointing out that if those Ukrainian refugees could come across and finish out their asylum process here in the States, then why can't others? And so we will likely see that potentially be sorted out in court. The federal Justice Department has said that they do plan to appeal this judge's decision and that they believe and will argue that the CDC does indeed have the power to go ahead and remove Title 42. Eric and Neda.
Chris Groh, live at the board. Thank you, Chris. Today, a judge could decide if 2 men accused of setting off a pipe bomb in Kearny Mesa will go to trial. 39-year-old Grover Everett and 30-year-old Hans Sarda have pleaded not guilty to 3 felony charges. The explosion happened in February at the Four Points Sheraton on Arrow Drive. The prosecutor says surveillance video shows the 2 men going inside the hotel through an employee door. Police say tips from the public led to the arrests at a traffic stop where powder loads and meth were also discovered, they tell us. This morning, San Diego County Sheriff's deputies investigating 2 Amtrak train deaths. 2 people were killed in different areas in just the past 24 hours. One in Sorrento Valley, the other in Encinitas. This is the video we're showing you from the scene in Encinitas here. Deputies say the first person was hit early Sunday morning. It happened around 1 a.m. at the Sorrento Valley train station. The second person died near the Lucadia Boulevard grade crossing in Encinitas just before 11 a.m. on Sunday. At this time, investigators say they don't know much about these deaths. Right now, anyone with information is asked to give the Sheriff's Department a call.
Today, the old eye candy Showgirls strip club in Chula Vista set to get demolished. So this is the site, the video you're seeing here. This comes nearly 7 years after the business closed its doors due to building and zoning violations. It's just been standing there. Council members say the business originally filed as a comedy club and then opened as a full nude strip club. Eye candy shut down in 2015, and some community members do think it is an eyesore.
It's blighted. The windows are broken out. We've got homeless folks living there, lighting fires. Some violence has occurred on the premises. Lots of graffiti, and it's just been a blight in the area.
And that's the city council member there in Chula Vista, Jill Galvez, saying the demolition will take a few weeks. The lot will most likely be turned into parking.
This morning, some good news for San Diego renters. They can feel a little more secure in their homes. The city's new pause on evictions for those who are up to date on their rent took effect yesterday. It's all in an effort to keep San Diegans in their homes as inflation soars. CBS 8's Brian White breaks down the new rules and what they mean for tenants and landlords.
That's right, the no-fault eviction moratorium for the city of San Diego is now in effect, restricting the ability of landlords to evict tenants who are current on their rent and obeying the terms of their lease.
San Diego cannot afford one more person to enter into homelessness.
The new rules that went into effect Sunday prevent landlords from removing tenants for no-fault reasons. San Diego City Council President Sean Elo Rivera championed this measure.
Landlords know that if they do a bit of an upgrade, some minor renovations, they can jack up rent substantially.
Under the moratorium, if a landlord or family member wants to move into the unit, they need to provide the tenant with 90 days notice. If they want to take the property off the rental market, they now have to provide 6 months notice.
What we have done was ensure that there's fewer exceptions to the rules, and that when someone is going to be evicted, that they're given enough time to get their life together.
However, some say the moratorium is unnecessary.
And it feels a little bit like it's a solution looking for a problem.
Lucinda Lilly is president of the Southern California Rental Housing Association, which expressed opposition when the moratorium was approved by the San Diego City Council in April.
I don't think that it's been properly vetted. I don't think that there's any data that shows that it's necessary.
Elo Rivera points to research from the Legal Aid Society of San Diego. During a 7-month period, they received 1,400 requests for assistance with housing-related issues, and no-fault evictions made up 23% of those requests.
If you want to sell your property, that's your right. You're going to give the tenant that's living in the home right now enough notice to get things together.
With a soaring cost of rent in San Diego, evicted tenants can be hard-pressed to find a new place to live. And laying down security deposit, first and last month's rent, can be a steep amount of cash to come up with on short notice.
We were estimating somewhere in the range of $6,000 to $8,000 that someone would have to come up with. And what if you've got kids? What if you're trying to keep your kids in the same school?
The no-fault eviction moratorium is set to expire September 30th, or 60 days after the pandemic state of emergency ends, whichever comes first.
There you go. The explanation from Brian White. We appreciate that. And now thousands of families desperate for baby formula. They could get some relief soon. At this time, 70,000 pounds of infant formula arrived in the U.S. It all came from Germany. 40% of baby formula products are out of stock nationwide because of a factory shutdown, the shutdown of that one Abbott plant. Now, to compensate, the FDA relaxed its strict regulations to import formula from overseas. So now more is coming from other countries. U.S. officials say the shipment will help tens of thousands of babies and toddlers.
Children that need these formulas, there aren't any substitutions, there aren't any shortcuts.
Right now, the Biden administration says none of the first shipments will hit store shelves yet. Instead, it'll go to babies in areas that need it most. And the White House says the second flight of Operation Fly formula will arrive here in the next couple days.
Well, this morning, gas prices remaining steady and, of course, historically high in San Diego. The average price for regular $6.025 a gallon, so rounded up to $6.03 basically. It's nearly 30 cents higher than a month ago and more than $1.86 greater than 1 year ago. And Netta, you've got the Jeep today that you've got to actually fill up your EV you're not using today. So do you remember how to do that?
I was like, oh no.
Are you ready for sticker shock?
I don't want to do it. Does anyone have a Costco membership back
I do.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they let you share that thing. But yeah, I was going to say I was spoiled with the EV, but it got a flat tire.
Yeah,
so now I'm stuck in this.
Just don't look. Just don't look at the total. Just drive away and just
go short distances. That's the plan. So
yeah, I mean it's pretty consistent now. Where like a full tank is like 90 or so, and every time it happens, I'm just like, ooh. Sometimes I'll check my statement like on my phone on my app, and I'll be like, where did I spend 90 bucks? And I'm like, oh, right, at the gas pump. Forgot about that. Let's take a look outside. It is a cloudy start to the morning. Temperatures are going to climb to the upper 60s this afternoon. Mid 70s inland. The cloud cover is predominant across your coast and inland, but a couple clouds are stretching towards some of your mountaintops. Mountains and deserts, though, expecting plenty of sunshine over the next several days, at least a lot more than what the coast and inland will see. So here's satellite radar. You can see what we're working with. This is infrared showing how how far those clouds are stretching. They're still pushing just a little bit to the east. And then as we head toward about 9, 10 a.m., we'll see them pull back just a bit. So, of course, inland area is expected to see that sunshine occur a little bit quicker than you will along the coast. Along the coast, those clouds are likely going to hang out with us for the next several hours, likely toward about noon and 1 p.m. or so. Almanac for the day shows that we'll trend about 2 degrees cooler than average this afternoon. We'll climb to a few degrees above average with a warming trend that occurs this week. So today through about Thursday, that ridge of high pressure is going to start to build around us, and that ridge is going to give us some warmth between today and about your Thursday. That's when we start to cool down. About Friday through the weekend, we'll have some slightly cooler temperatures in the mix. It's 6:11 on the dot. No major crashes or collisions according to CHP. You can see how we just have those traffic cones out there, just some construction on the roads. Speeds across the Coronado Bridge are okay across the bridge, but getting into Coronado looks like things are slowing down to about the 10 to 20 mile per hour range. Slightly slower in that area expected for this time of the morning. Green across the screen on pretty much all major highways out there. 66 miles per hour on the 5 southbound from the 54 to the border. That's an 8-minute commute in total. Back to you.